All right, guys. So we're about, I think it's like 2 hours away from Saturday night's main event. Um, yeah, so in a few minutes, I'm going to leave. But before I do, I want to go over a little haul that I had. So I think it was last night. Yeah. So last night, I went to the Superstore. And yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. Let me show you real quick. Yeah, let's So I got a San Diego farewell belt. Let me see. Let me get a close up. Excuse the messy room, by the way. Sorry about that. But I was able to get the mini belt. This was 250 at the Superstore. Um, yeah, I believe someone told me that they were close to selling out. So I just got one because I didn't want to miss out. But yeah, I got a couple shirts for me and my brother too. So the last time is now. This one was pretty popular. I saw a lot of people getting this. I got a program too. I got this shirt. They were all the same price. They were all $40. Um, let me see. This shirt is, I think, the best one out of the ones that I got. Yeah, it's just interesting. It has all the different cards with with John Cena on them. And so yeah, I spent, I don't know how much. I think like 1,500 total. So yeah, I went a little overboard, but it's the last match for John Cena, so uh, YOLO, I guess. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm about to go walk to Capital One right now, so I'll probably catch up with you guys once I make it into the arena and get to my seat. All right, guys. So this is on a Tuesday, so 2 days after Saturday night's main event. Um, so yeah, overall, I enjoyed the show, but before getting into the matches and my overall experience going to the show, I just wanted to talk about, a little before the event. So they had the Superstore. I think it opened on Thursday and it closed on Sunday. So I had a chance to go on Friday, and that was really interesting. So I spent a little too much, I would say. I think I spent like 1,700 on all that stuff that I showed at the beginning of the video. So the belt, the mini belt, um, the I think I got like 6 T-shirts or something like that, and yeah, I got to meet Chris Van Vliet too. Super nice guy. I've seen him a bunch of times, so it was cool to finally meet him. He had like a line of people, trying to get a picture with him, talk to him for a bit, but he seems like a really cool guy. So that was cool. Um, and then they had the John Cena Fan Fest from 2 to 6 on the day of the event. I passed by, but the line was really long, and honestly, I was pretty hungry, and I had some other stuff to do. So I didn't get a chance to go to that, but from the outside looking in, um, it seemed pretty cool. They had like these John Cena. I did have like a couple clips, but they had like John Cena like inflatables and stuff like that. Live music, food trucks. They had a John Cena lookalike contest. It kind of sucks that I missed that one. That's one thing that I wanted to see, but yeah. So moving on to actually going to the event. So the line was stupid long. Like it was crazy long, and it was kind of not very organized. So they had like two main lines, and people were kind of confused on what line to go into. Because there was like, I think the box office was nearby, and there's still a lot of people that wanted to get a ticket last minute. I heard they got pretty good deals, so good on them. But yeah, it was kind of unorganized, and yeah, but there was a band playing too outside, so that was cool. I don't know what songs they were playing, but it sounded pretty good, and the crowd was really hyped up. A lot of people wearing their John Cena gear. I don't think I saw a single winter shirt. Um, but yeah, so the first match of the night was Oba Femi versus Cody Rhodes. So that was interesting because, with Oba being the NXT champion, Cody being the undisputed champion, I didn't know how much they were going to give Oba. I know Oba is, a really dominant wrestler in NXT. He's, I think, a two-time champion. Um, and really, he's kind of being set up as being the next, big breakout star from NXT. But yeah, I didn't know if they don't want to make the undisputed champion look weak, but then they want to make Oba look seem strong once he eventually makes that move from NXT to the main roster. But they gave Oba a lot. He was throwing Cody around for a bit, um, and yeah, honestly, I would have liked to seen a bit more of this match. It was a pretty good match while it lasted. I think most people knew that it wasn't gonna have a clean ending just because it's they don't want to make Opa look weak. They don't want to have him pinned, at least not right now. Even though it wouldn't be that bad because it's the undisputed champion. But yeah, so Drew McIntyre interfered, and that was the end of that match. And then Cody and Oba hit their finishes on Drew, and then that was that. So yeah, it was a good match. I would have liked to seen a bit more. I'm sure. As long as Cody's still active, we're probably going to see this match at one point for the undisputed title. But yeah, until then, we'll see. So after that match was Sol Ruka versus Bailey. So I'm not really watching NXT like that right now, but I've seen like highlights of Sol on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, and yeah, she seems like a really acrobatic, really athletic, explosive wrestler. Um, but yeah, it kind of felt like a showcase match for Sol Ruka. Some people were saying that the start of the match was kind of sloppy. Yeah, it wasn't the best, but you have to keep in mind, you know, these aren't wrestlers that are constantly, wrestling with each other. At least not right now. With Soul being on NXT and Bailey being on the main roster, they're not gonna have the best chemistry right away. But um, I would say after like the first half of the match, the crowd started getting into it. Soul started doing her crazy moves. She did like a this hit one of her moves, the diving handstand moonsault, which is just one of her many acrobatic movements. But yeah, the soul snatcher, that's a really crazy finishing move. I'm surprised from what I've seen that she hasn't like really messed it up. Um, but yeah, Bailey made the finisher look really good. She was Bailey reversed into a roll up, and then Soul reversed that, and then she got the 1 2 3. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. If they're gonna promote Soul to the main roster anytime soon. She's definitely a superstar in the making. I guess the only worry really is injuries with being that explosive. A lot of wrestlers or athletes in general who rely on explosiveness, they're kind of been shown to be at least somewhat prone to injuries, especially like knee injuries. So I think she has injured her knee in the past, but as long as she doesn't have any serious injuries from now on, she'll definitely be a star for many years to come. But yeah, we'll see where Sol goes from here, and then where Bailey goes from here. Um, but yeah, so the next match was AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Javon Evans and Leon Slater. So honestly, this was a pretty short match. I was kind of surprised how short it was. Um, Leon Slater and Javon Evans, they're known for their high flying moves, very explosive as well. But yeah, I remember the first time I saw Leon Slater was in TNA. I think it was in Irvine, and or in LA. Yeah, I saw him. TNA had events in Irvine and LA earlier this year, but I saw him in one of those shows. It was where he did like a dive during the X Division match, and no one caught him. There was a lot of there was a lot of talk about that on social media, but yeah, these guys are super talented. Um, I wish that the match was a little longer, but I mean, they found enough time to hit some cool dives um, off the top rope or out of the ring. But yeah, I guess one of the main points or one of the main things that people are talking about for this match was that AJ Styles was trying to hit a phenomenal forearm and he slipped off the top rope. Some people are saying that he did that on purpose. As part of like a storyline that he's retiring soon, that maybe he's losing it a little bit, but I don't think so. From the angles, from watching it live and also rewatching it since then, it just seems like he slipped. He's older, of course, but mistakes happen. Even with him being AJ Styles, one of the greatest ever. Some people have him as the greatest in-ring performer ever. Things like this are going to happen. So I think it was just, an accident. He just slipped and that was that. But yeah, so after that, AJ would catch Leon after Leon was trying to do a move off the top rope. He gets him in a Styles clash, pins him 1, 2, 3, and that was that. So yeah, a pretty short match. I wish they gave a little more time for this match specifically, just because with 4 of the most insane high flyers, really. I mean, I don't want to say ever because Leon and Javon are so new, but these guys are amazing, and I think we missed out a little bit. Hopefully, we see a rematch sometime down the line, or yeah, with a little bit more time. I think this match would have been amazing, but yeah, moving on. So the Miz and R-Truth had a segment. So the Miz came out and he's talking all this smack, saying that why isn't he involved in the show? But R-Truth comes out and then he says his name, Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry comes out and then he does his thing, his shtick, the the turn around smiling stuff, and Hendry and Truth do a double 5 knuckle shuffle, and then Joe Hendry hits the standing ovation and then pins the Miz. And then Joe Hendry does his whole shtick, where he turns around, smiles, and then, with the audience waving during his entrance. So that was cool. But yeah, this was basically just filler. But It was a fun little segment. Joe Henry, I think, is now officially part of WWE. I think he's on NXT currently. And he did say at one point that he was going to be involved with John Cena and during his retirement tour, and he got that, so that was cool for him. Um, but yeah, uh, hopefully Joe Henry, has a good career in the WWE. Um, he's still, somewhat young, very charismatic guy, so hopefully, things go well for him. Moving on to the main event, so John Cena versus Gunther. Man, so Gunther, I think, was the most hated man in DC for one night because you know what this felt like? This felt like, I don't know if you guys remember John Cena's entrance, I think ECW Final Stand 2006. Yeah, when he faced RVD for the WWE Championship, where they had that famous sign that if Cena wins, we riot. And I actually did see uh, someone was trying to bring in like if Gunther wins, we riot, but they wouldn't let that sign pass because I guess it would incite violence. But um, yeah, it was interesting to see how much he had, and this was even before the match. And then, obviously with him beating John Cena, in a pretty, I think, good match, but I don't know, I kind of wanted John to win. I had seen like a video on Instagram, I think, about like the best possible ending for this match, and it there was one part of the match where Gunther had him in chokehold, and then it seemed like Cena was gonna go out. They do they let your arm, or the ref lets your arm drop, and on the third one, if you don't raise your arm, you're out. You submitted, so you're out. The match is over. But this time, or on the third one, John Cena got out of the move. He got Gunther in the attitude adjustment, the AA, and yeah, it seemed like okay. The match isn't. It was still too soon, so the match isn't over yet. And but on, I'm sure he wanted to put Gunther over in his last match. I think me. I think me and a lot of the fans that grew up watching him wanted him to get one last win. Um, I think the ending wasn't. I don't know. I see a lot of people hating on the ending, and yeah, I could see that. But I felt like out of the possible endings that they had, I think they kind of chose the lamest one. There was, I felt like they could have done that spot a few more times where it seemed like John was going out, but he reverses it, and it seems like he's gonna win. It seemed like we needed a few more of those, where like yes, Cena is actually gonna win, or there's a chance that he's gonna win, but I didn't really feel like they had that. But yeah, I mean, the match overall was fine in my opinion. The ending was a little, but or who knows? I mean, we'll see, right? Because I'm filming this after Raw, and Gunther barely said anything on the Raw, and he like you could barely hear what he was saying because he was getting booed so loud. But we'll see where they go from here. I know they had him interact with AJ Styles, and AJ Styles is gonna retire soon, so he might. Who knows? Some people online were saying that he might be like the new legend killer, basically going after all these legends that are about to retire, like AJ Styles, Randy Orton, the original legend killer, And even Brock, I heard Brock is retiring, I think, in SummerSlam, or at least plans to, since it's being held in Minnesota. But yeah, I wasn't the biggest, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the ending. Um, you know, I was a fan of the overall show, and even though I spent a little too much, well, a lot too much, I think this seat was 607. I sat in section 107, row C, seat 6. Um, and the views was really good, but um, to me it was worth it just to see, to me, because I got to see John, one last time. Hopefully he does, stay retired and he doesn't come back for any big Saudi paydays. But yeah, this is, if he doesn't feel that he can go anymore, um, then yeah, I think this is, a good way to end his career. And Gunter was, I think, a good opponent to do that with. But overall, this retirement tour was kind of not that great, to be honest with you. In my opinion, I saw some, I think it was Bleacher Report or something like that. They gave this retirement tour an F. I don't know if I would go, if I would be that harsh, but I would give it like a C, maybe a D. Yeah, it wasn't great, honestly. I think that heel turn, with that, I think it had a potential to be an A, but they kind of fumbled that pretty bad. Um, and after that, the turn back into a face was kind of like whatever. Might as well not even had that heel turn, to be honest. Especially with The Rock and Travis Scott involved. I don't know why those guys got involved. They should have just done it without those guys, or because I mean, they didn't do much after that. But yeah, overall, I had fun. Washington is a nice place. It's cold as shit, to be honest, but yeah, I enjoyed my time here, and it was definitely a good chance to see a legend one last time. So yeah, thank you guys.